Aloha. Are we live? Are we live? Sun is shining. All right, so I am back to share with you. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Yep. Okay, so what we are going to be sharing with you today is okay, hold on, let me pull up my notes. So we've been talking about this holiday harmony and all the things that are occurring in all over the world, specifically in our different aspects of our life, and having this year, this season, be different than all the rest, right? So today specifically, actually we're going to cover, in no limit of time, we're going to cover about like 5 different points I want to make. I promise I'm gonna hit it and quit it. We're gonna talk about it, enough to get the point in. All right. And so as you can see, we are going to, our topic is, you don't owe anyone the version of you they expect this season. All right. And so why am I having this conversation with you? Why am I continuing to have this conversation with you? I'm continuing to have the conversation because I want to, in full transparency, invite you to an experience, all right, for you to have for yourself during this solstice, starting Friday. All right, and we'll get more into that. And this is why we're having the conversation. And so I really want to reframe it right away, that what's happening with the holidays and how it feels harder this year is not, and we're going to cover many different areas of how we're all experiencing it, right? So you can see where this applies to you. So the holidays may feel harder, and it's not because you are failing, right? And what I know for my own self, personally, what I'm experiencing relative to my mother passing, my father, my brother just passed away, and my dog is sick, and I've given her permission. I've given her permission that if she wants to check out of here, she can. And that, definitely honor her where she is. So I said all that to say that our bodies help us to be able to know where we can choose to honor where we are, take a stand, show up differently, and not just be doing things just because, again, people expect it of us, right? So really being able to stand on our square, be true to ourselves, and in a respectful and honorable way, and honor others at the same time with embodying the change that you're choosing to experience for yourself, which is your truth. So it's not the holidays that's a problem. It's our nervous system is telling us the truth. And when we go against that truth, then that's when we have all the triggers and all the things, right? So what are some of those other truths that show up as, we're numb, we're just going through the motions, right? We're disassociated, right? And the other truth is, as I stated before, is that we get to be in full integrity in communication with what the body is communicating to us. All right. And so the fatigue we have, the resistance, our emotions, they are not the problem. Guess what they are? They are signals. Okay? They are signals. So I'm pausing right there as I feel into what's occurring in my body right now, because I can feel myself being tense, right? And so I have to intentionally focus and breathe, right? And so when I know this, when I feel this in my body, I know I am to pay attention, because there's some resistance that I'm holding on to, okay? So another point we want to make from another perspective is helping you to know that you can choose to no longer have to push through the holidays, because the pushing through is not working anymore. All right? So you get to choose to flow naturally, right? What worked before, pushing, pleasing, performing, doesn't work anymore. And it doesn't mean you're weaker. It means you are wiser. Right? So the suppression catches up with us. We don't care about certain things. Our own self-care is compromised, right? And just know that, there's a book out there called The Body Keeps the Score, right? The body will, you keep playing, the body will give you a message and shut us down, all right? And so, other ways that show up is that, our emotional overload also shuts down later. Again, we're disconnected. We are not honoring where we are. We're faking the funk, to say it another way, right? So what's being asked of us this season, with all that's happening, is your body is asking for regulation, not motivation. So if you're at the point, and thank you, if you're at the point that you're having to be motivated to do things that you've been doing, you used to do for the love of it, and because it fed your soul and it brought you joy, then that's called a clue, right? That's called a clue. There's some things that you want to shift, all right? So the next perspective to look at this in is, if the holidays feel heavy this year, you're not broken, okay? And I want to say this clearly, especially for us women who feel this quietly, right? Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you, okay? So grief, I'm experiencing grief. Family dynamics are changing, right? Emotional fatigue from a lot of the grief and the family dynamics and the stress, of navigating the changes. And when people don't understand the changes that you're going through in your life and where you are and how you are choosing to show up, with expressing who you are, aka identity shifts, right? It can, it can be really heavy. It can feel really heavy. And boy, yesterday I had an amazing session, clearing session, subconscious clearing session and movement, that should you choose to come on this journey with us on Friday and Sunday, the solstice, you will also be able to experience it, have get a little taste of it, right? And have your own experience to relative to the shifts that are occurring in your life and the things in your body that are stuck points, blocked energy, right? Chakras blocked, meridians that are stagnant, right? Flow, you don't have a natural flow that's moving, right? As fluid as it can, right? So what I want you to be, what I'm choosing to share with you that you can accept or not, is sensitivity is not a dysfunction. It's awareness. How does that land for you? How does that land for you? So our next perspective, and I know a lot of us can, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into this. This is what we opened up about, not owing anyone the version of you that they expect this season, right? So all the things, the routines you normally do, doing all the cooking, bringing everybody together. And this was so interesting that this came up yesterday for me as an awareness when I was talking with my aunt and just reflecting on this time. Oh, this is what happened. Thank you. This is what happened. So it was my aunt's birthday. I always think it's on the 17th, but her birthday is on the 15th of December. And so I called her yesterday to see how she was doing because I hadn't talked to her, and she said, yeah, y'all didn't call me for my birthday. And I said, wow, oh my God. And she said, she talked to my brother and he didn't even say anything and she wasn't going to say anything. And I said, you know what? I said, I always think your birthday is on the 17th of December. I always forget. And my mother was that one who made sure that we knew that it was, make sure you call her and call your auntie because it's her birthday. Call your auntie because it's her birthday. She was always that one to ensure that, especially me, I knew. And she's not here and I didn't have that, so that came up for me yesterday, about how my mother on this side, my mother's side, she's the one in the family because they always get together, they exchange gifts, before Christmas. The family get together and, everybody go over to a designated house and have dinner and just have fun and, just connect. Because our family has always been a family that gets together. We were always at Big Mama's house, And then Big Mama's house or my granddad's house, Tommy Forward, we were always at one of their houses. And then when grandmother and grandfather passed away, then it was my Uncle Bron. We were always at Uncle Bron's house. Then Uncle Bron passed away, right? And so they still go over there because I'm not there. I'm not there. I'm always somewhere else. And so they still go over there. And so this year, and that was what me and my aunt were talking about yesterday as well, that dynamic, that family dynamic. So, and my dad, he was the one, because he had so many children, he was always, having get-togethers and paying for everything. And, my sisters would come from South Carolina. We would go to Florida. I would come down because I have brothers and sisters down there. And because most of all the family from New York have moved to Florida. And so, we would have different events, and gatherings in Florida. And my dad was the one who was, most of the time spearheading that. and it was like, wow, I had this awareness that, wow, both are gone, who were those pillars. And so, so that came up relative to being able to come together and do the things that we normally would do, right? So you don't owe anyone the version of you that they expect this season. My mom and my daddy don't owe me that. They're not even here to give it to me, right? So saying all that to say that for those of us who are still in some of those patterns, you feel the pressure to show up, as a version of yourself that you've outgrown, right? And I've talked a little bit about this on one of the untriggerable moments, that we had. So just know that expectations live in other people's nervous systems. They don't have to live in yours. And boundaries do not require a defense. You don't have to defend your boundaries. You do not have to defend your boundaries, right? And so what I want you to take away from this perspective is that peace doesn't come from better expectations. It comes from alignment. Your peace doesn't come from better expectations. It comes from alignment. All right? And our final point in bringing it all in is that whole intent and purpose and reason I'm doing this, because of course what I'm experiencing, and I know many of you are experiencing, because a lot of you all were experiencing it before I even experienced it, and because I do the work that I do, and it's helping me, it helps me. I want to be able to support you and give you access to experience it as well, right? And so what we are doing is that we have the solstice coming up, right? And so we have things that are, and we're in the fourth quarter of 2025, right? And 2026, this is a 9-year, all right? So this is a year of completions, a lot of things ending. And 2026 is a new beginning. And so, I'm so grateful Allah was guiding me to no longer resist really just pouring everything out and just opening up and just exposing and sharing everything. Well, not everything, many things that I haven't shared that are timely for where we are in this dispensation of time, right? And what's required and what can help those of you who your soul feels a calling and know that there's something greater, right? So we have things ending this season, and it is a good thing. Okay, if I use that, well, anyway, it's not a bad thing that things are ending, right? And so as we approach the winter solstice, we come to a natural ending point, all right? And of course, endings don't have to always be dramatic. I've told my Poochie here that if, she wants to make her transition, like the rest of them, then okay, I will miss her. I will be saddened, because I'm telling you, I never thought I would love a dog the way I love Miss Marley. And I'm really so grateful, so grateful, because I don't have any children, right? And so mothers, y'all, we have that love. And because I hadn't physically, per se, birthed a child, there still is a, that was an area for me that was a gap. And I couldn't really relate to to the degree of a person who's had a baby, because it's a different experience of having of life growing within you and coming out of you, right? And I know that because of my mother's love, right? So Marley coming into my life definitely has expanded my capacity and my own insights of the power, of love. And so in this solstice that we have endings, and then we have new beginnings, okay, that we want to support you. So with being able to recognize for yourself and shift and hold a space, a container that you feel safe in to support you in releasing it, physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, morally, all the things that's keeping us stuck. So old roles, old obligations. And we talked about these unspoken, we mentioned in the topic, these unspoken, and let me say spoken contracts that no longer serve. Old emotional labor. All right. And only you, there's no judgment. Okay. You have to, make the decision on the contracts that that are over and that you have just been going through the motions with, and a call of your soul is longing for something greater, whether it's by yourself, in your business, in your family, or not, in your community, how you serve humanity, whatever it is, you now have the opportunity, and we're supporting you with being able to be a part of a group of growth-centered, right? Growth-minded, heart-centered, committed to self-mastery, right? Integrous community who we're all being, we're doing, we're on the same frequency of showing up as our true God essence self. And we are supporting each other in the day-to-day embodiment, application, practical habits and things that we do to support us in being and embodying this new identity that we have. All right? As showing up in our heart, doing what's heart-centered, and leaving all the rest where it is, right? And so this weekend you are invited to change without shame. All right, you're invited to change without shame. And so the holidays are changing, and so are you. And so the discomfort that's happening during this season, sometimes it's a mismatch. And you know what? You've changed, and old traditions haven't caught up, right? And that's a part of some of the disconnect as to why the body is responding the way it is. It's because it's out of alignment. It's out of alignment. And don't get me wrong, I know we all is part of sacrificing and doing things that are uncomfortable, and necessary at the same time, right? And you do it not because you want to, you do it because you have to, right? And all of that is an evolution. All of that is an evolution. And I'm taking responsibility. I accept responsibility for my evolution and the choices that I know serve me now for my highest benefit with me and the God of all that is, right? That I'm purposefully committed to. And so I want to reassure you that change doesn't mean rejection. It doesn't equal rejection, okay? Growth doesn't mean abandoning love, that you're just giving up on it because you're outgrowing each other. It doesn't mean you're abandoning love, right? And just know that you don't need to regress to belong. You don't need to dim your light just to be a part. Let me say this to myself. I don't need to dim my light just to belong. Yeah, just to belong. I don't need to dim my light. I no longer choose to dim my light, right? And so just know that you are allowed to honor who you are right now. And so I want to invite you to, let's see, where is it? I'm going to invite you to an experience this weekend. Oh, I need to do this. Hold on. And it is we're still on this Holiday Harmony series. All right. The holidays can be the most hectic emotional time, and it's also the most powerful moment to heal, break cycles, and create more peace for yourself and those you love. This is going to be a Holiday Harmony workshop. It's going to be a 3-hour experience over 2 days. All right. So your holiday magic starts when you pause, especially when you believe you can't. All right. Especially when you believe you can't. So did I do that wrong? Okay. Where am I? There I am. Okay. So yeah, that's over my face. Okay. So anyway, so we're inviting you to feel seen, and I'm inviting you to feel seen, because I'm inviting myself to be seen, to be heard, to be understood, to be acknowledged, and to share with you from my overflow the resources, the people, the places, the things, the circumstances that support me in being this person that you love. Yes. And so this is one of the reasons, just everything that I was going through is why the Holiday Harmony came through as an experience to create, and began talking about it, whether I had one person or 500 people listening live and or to the replays, right? And so what this experience is that we are embarking upon on Friday and Sunday is not a course, it's not homework, it's not long-term work. It's live facilitated space for emotional clearing and nervous system grounding, meditating, prayers, processes that we can do during the holidays to support us to be able to remain untriggerable. And even if we are triggered a little bit, right? Because we are still in the process, right? And some of us, this is new, being introduced to you, right? And so you're like, yeah, I want to do this because I'm tired of this, right? You still may get triggered, and you honor that, right? You honor that, and you also have these tools to support you to know how to move through it, right? Where it doesn't stop you or make you retreat and go back to your old way of being when you've made a commitment to yourself that you're going to show up differently this year, right? And forward, all right? So It's a 2.5 to 3 hours total experience between the 2 days. And we're going to be we are intentional, with the speed at which we go about it. We're going to be together for 60 minutes per session. All right. And you'll have time in between so the body can definitely integrate. All right. Gently, all the shifting and all the processes and all the releasing that is taking place. All right. And so everyone can join. All right. And we have a community that you'll be a part of that's inside of the Oneness Wellness community. Right. And you also have an opportunity to go deeper, do some deeper work. Right. After you have your 2-day experience and the body is you're able to get some receipts on what your experience is, your own personal experience, have your own receipts. You're able to experience that and know for yourself that, oh wow, yeah, this is something that I want to continue. I want to make a part of my lifestyle and not another task or something to do, right? That you have to remember, like you're getting ready for all these New Year's resolutions, right? No, right? We're going to support you in having this to be a part of your new identity that you are creating, right? So that's going to be happening. Let me go here. That's going to be happening Friday. And that's going to be happening Friday, right? And this is, what is this right here? Okay. And so this is a Black Friday. I'm still in Black Friday, and I don't, that's another tangent that I'm getting ready to go on. Okay, I'm resisting. So this is a Black Friday holiday harmony journey. All right, because we are reframing that whole Black Friday experience. Why it was created. And some of the mayhem that comes along with it, the concept and the results of it is the frequency that we are choosing to embody, right? So this is our Black Friday holiday harmony, and you definitely will be able to, we'll be together for this workshop. And it's $27. That's $27. All right. So you get to have and create your most wonderful time of the year. Yes, you do. Your most wonderful time of the year. And, oh, that's the wrong thing. Okay, hold on. It's supposed to be me. Oh goodness. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness. Okay, anyway. This is your liberation, seasonal emotional liberation. So you no longer are the underpaid CEO at an event you never wanted to plan. The words from traditional family trigger a full body cringe, right? Your smile is a mask for the silent screaming inside. Your rest feels like betrayal because busyness feels like your duty. Like if you're not doing something, you can't rest. You feel guilty, right? And you're in this season spiritually and emotionally bankrupt. No more. As a result of us spending these 3 hours together over 2 days, you wake up on Christmas morning, genuinely excited. Your no is a complete sentence delivered with peace and in love, right? And you receive help and delegate tasks without apology. You are joyful, you're not the exhausted producer, and you end the season more energized than when you started it, right? So this is also your self-reclamation. And we have 3 pillars of liberation that we are going to be embodying in this experience. Where you would get unmasked the scripts, heart-centered boundaries, okay? Receive exact scripts on how to say no with loved ones and confidence. And we're going to be doing some subconscious block clearing, some limiting beliefs, and getting rid of all the stuck energy in many different forms. All right, we have a lot of different models by which, we can support all of you that resonates with you, okay, to help the body release and discharge this stuck energy. So yeah, this is worth a lot. All right, so many of my clients know, that they've gotten results, and they invest at the level at which they expect the results, and they do get results. So this is a part of what I'm committed to, and you get to have this experience with me, all right, for $27. Donation of $27. And you can go and register at Black Friday Holiday Harmony. And this is one time, $27, 3 hours over 2 days, 60 minutes each session. On Sunday, we're going to have 2 sessions because that is the solstice. So we have some special activities specifically curated to support you during this solstice, which is an ideal time to let go and begin things, all right? Putting the framework in place into your 2026, because 2026, as I was saying earlier, is 2025 is a year of completion, and 2026 is a year of new beginnings. So we are and I don't know if you all have figured this out, but as much havoc and chaos that's happening in the world, when you understand the law of polarity, at the same end, on the other side, right, at the same time, we have a great opportunity for change. All right, so here's what you experience: the complete Holiday Harmony Workshop, live 2.5 to 3 hours, live subconscious block clearings with myself and some guests. Yes, a heart-centered boundary script vault, lifetime access to the replays. So if you're not able to attend, you can get access to the replays. And we also have bonus with holiday reset meditation bonus, and a private holiday harmony sisterhood chat, okay, that you'll have access to. And again, this is for $27. And you can go to Black Friday holidayharmony.com and get more information. And a few of the questions that are typically asked: my family would never change, will this work? Beloved, yes, this workshop has nothing to do with changing them. It has everything to do with changing you. When you change your energy, your responses, and your choices, the entire dynamic is forced to shift around you. All right? You stop being a sponge for their chaos and become an anchor of peace. Right? I feel guilty. I feel too guilty to set boundaries. Really? That guilt is the exact lock this workshop provides the key for. The live subconscious block clearing is designed specifically to target and dissolve that guilt at its root. You won't just learn to push through the guilt. You release the programming that creates it. You're in the right place. What if I can't make the workshop? All right. Yes. While, of course, the energy is being in the room is nothing like it. And at the same time, If you can't be in the room for the hour, then you do have access to the replays. All right. And it is evergreen, so the energy is ever present. All right. Is this a religious program? No, it is not. It is spiritual and universal principles of love, energy, and inner power. As I said earlier, oneness is a universal. It's a universal experience, right? So we welcome everyone of all different faiths, even if you don't believe, or have a faith, beliefs, backgrounds. The only requirement is a desire to come back home to yourself. So just know that you are the real value, and to never compromise who you are anymore. Never compromise who you are anymore. So the Black Friday Holiday Harmony, you can join us. All right. And if you have any questions, again, you can reach out to me. And be a part of this journey. It's private, so you're probably saying, well, do I have to show up on Zoom? Do I have to have my camera on? Do I have to say anything? Nope. You are in divine receivership. Because you have decided that change is inevitable, and now you're ready to accept that fact that you are changing, and you want to be actively participating in the change. Hey, you are actively participating in the change, right? And not a victim habits. Boy, you and the God of all that is, that wheel gets to lining up, and boy, you'll realize that the change is not hard. It doesn't have to be as hard as we have been made and programmed to believe that it is. That part. All right. So you can have your cameras off. You can communicate in the chat.